Hello. Hi guys. Welcome to Rora. Hi Betty. Hi Wondem. I need to pin you because I don't want to be looking for you later on. Hi Hannah. Hi. Welcome to Rora's second episode, second live show. Welcome guys. Hello, hi. Hello. Sorry, I can't take any live. I know someone is requesting me to go live, but sorry. Hi, I can't take live anyone at the moment. Because we already have our own guest coming through in a moment. Just waiting for everybody to join in so we can start the show. But I'll play some music until then. Welcome. Welcome everyone, welcome. Just waiting for 2 people to join and then we'll start the live show. I promise you guys it's gonna be very interesting topic to discuss. I hope everybody can hear me. Can everybody put 111 if you guys can hear me? Oh, can I get a purple heart? Because I like purple. I'm waiting for Rora to join. Great, perfect. Yes, thank you. I feel so good. Thank you. Thank you guys. I'm pumped. I feel so good. Feels good. Can Stella Melbourne join, please? Can someone tell her? Thank you guys. I feel the love. I really do. I'm feeling it. Thank you. Starting the Rora second episode shortly. I'm just waiting for our guests to join us. I'm waiting for someone to join me from Rora. There's 2 people that I'm waiting for. My main guest is here. Okay, welcome guys, welcome back. Today is our second live show episode. We did an intro 2 weeks ago, but today we are doing our second show, and we have a guest, our first ever guest, to discuss about moving to a different country, the challenges, and I think everybody here that is a diaspora can relate to that as well. Moving to a different country and the challenges that we face and what we learned and how we moved on from it. And there's nobody else I could think of in mind better than the guest I'm about to invite. But he will tell you guys himself and we'll discuss about it more with him. I just want to say something about Rora. I know everybody wants to know what the meaning of Rora is, why we want to do Rora. Rora for us, it's something about empowering. Like the meaning of Rora can mean anything. It can mean so many other things as well. But for us, it means the goddess of sunrise, the dawn of light that shines so bright, like a queen. So it's empowering in a sense that we want to use it and reflect in on our day-to-day base that we do as women, or as life itself when it comes to us. So but without further ado, I've got the people that I need are here. Where is he? There he is. Okay. Hi, Wondem.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
I know. Good morning for you. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
It's 5 a.m. where you are.
Yes.
It's 10 p.m. where I am.
Yeah.
Sunday night for me.
Sunday
morning for you.
People wake up for church, all right? This time that I'm waking up for life.
See, you need to go to church.
Nothing.
It's all love. It's all love.
ለዛ ነው የተነሳው. Hi everybody.
Welcome to Rora.
Thank you.
And congratulations on being our first guest.
I know,
Official,
right?
our first guest.
I know, like, I'm glad to be here. No, for honestly, I know we spoke, but I'm glad to be here and, you know, just share my experiences, a little bit of my knowledge, and learn from you guys too, from others that are inside the page and that are, you know, the people that are live with us today. So I'm glad to be here.
I'm really, really happy to have you. But before I start, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody? Do you want to tell everyone your name and what you do?
Okay. So my name is Wondem Breen. I live in the States, Washington State, Seattle, Washington. I'm a personal trainer, and I work with mentally disabled adults, and you know, gym is my second home. I love gym, so
obsessed with gym.
Obsessed with junkie. So, like, I'm a health freak. So besides that, I'm a diaspora, like most of us.
Yep.
But you know, as we go, I think further we would find out more about me, because I think there is a little bit twist. So we'll find out as we go. So I guess that would be it for me.
Perfect. So if everybody, for everybody that's joining us today, this is our second show with Rora. And our guest today, we're going to be discussing the topic that we'll be talking about today is about moving to a different country and the challenges that we face and how we overcome it, and how it has affected us as an individual moving to a different country, especially moving to a different country, being a young person to move to a different place. So I'm going to ask a few questions, but we're going to discuss it. It's not going to be question and answer. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask at the end, that you want us to discuss about, or you guys want to ask Wondem at the end, you guys can drop it in the question box below, and then we will have about 10 minutes at the end, and then we can have a question and answer for you guys as well. So without further ado, Wondem, do you remember the feeling that you had? You know, like when you were told, "Oh, you're gonna go to America."
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember that feeling? Getting ready and all that?
Yes. Yes.
What was that feeling like?
I think that was the best feeling, to be honest. To me, that was the best feeling, given the, you know, not to go too much out of subject, but where I was in life back then.
Yeah.
You know, I was about because the process took about a year. So I was about 9, 10. So I was excited. I was in a place where everybody was leaving consistently.
Yeah.
So I wasn't in just a random place. Oh, Wondem, you're gonna go. No, it wasn't like that. It's like, get ready, your turn. It's like by turn almost. So my
Yeah.
turn was there. So I was so excited. Like I was ready to
Yeah.
leave. So it was like,
Yeah.
the next, like I thought like how life is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right the minute when I heard I was leaving, I already
Yeah.
imagined what life is going to be. It's
The
already a
kind of
picture
burger
was,
you would eat.
yes,
Yeah.
picture was already
Yeah.
stuck. So it was like, it was one of the greatest feelings to per se,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
life has its
Um,
own thing.
I think everybody could relate to that. I had the same feeling as well. Um, I wasn't kind of like I've always wanted to leave Ethiopia. I never wanted to be in Addis. Like I just wanted to move out
Yeah.
to DC was my dream place to be when I was a kid growing up for some unknown reason. Um, so that moment, I was about to leave. There was a bit of a drama going on, but I literally cried nonstop for 2 weeks. I was not happy at the end, even though I was there. I'm about to leave. Nobody could stop me crying for 2 weeks. I was bawling my eyes out. I
Were
was
you
just
sad
like,
to leave?
I was sad to leave. When the time came, I just like, not now, not now, just a little bit more time. But I still remember that feeling, like it gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. But before then, that feeling I had was like, I'm gonna go, all the burgers I'm gonna eat, all the buildings I'm gonna see, all that excitement, all this Faranj I'm gonna be meeting, all that excitement I could never forget. I think that is something that everybody can relate. It's very relatable.
Yeah, I don't know. That is
And
like the imagination, I think, like what most of us as children, like, as kids, we had that. Like, we
yeah,
didn't expect, tribulation, struggle, or anything. It just,
no, no,
America,
no, no.
for us, America was like the sweetest, Even you remember, like, እንትን, what was it called? የአሜሪካ ጭቃ እያሉ የሚሰጥን, what was the name of it?
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
literally thought,
Um,
oh my God, I literally thought
what's it
that was
called?
real. የአሜሪካ ጭቃ
Yeah,
ቤታቸው የሚሰራው በዛ ነበር የሚመስለኝ.
yes. Oh my God, I forgot
What's
what's
the
the name of
English?
it.
Like, yeah,
But
like there's, oh my gosh.
can somebody say it here, please? I forgot the name too. America chica. I don't know what it's called in English. Somebody say it,
No,
please.
there is like, oh gosh, it's not like, it has nothing to do with chicken, the name even itself.
Yeah, I
It's like,
know.
I said,
They use it to seal.
yeah, tipo, until now,
Um,
and now I used to
I
think,
don't know.
that's how the houses was made and stuff like, I'm not,
Play-Doh.
yeah,
Someone said
Play-Doh,
Play-Doh.
yes, yes,
Yeah, Play-Doh.
yeah.
Yes.
And that's what I used to think, like, that's what we're gonna play with and all that stuff. Like, nothing.
Yeah.
I come here was a different story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask next. What was your impression once you landed to America? What was your impression? Like, what was going through your mind?
Ah, it hit like, as far as I like, as far as I remember, like, and I'm trying to remember really clearly, and I do remember, to be honest, I remember very clearly. And I landed in DC at the time. My parents were in Virginia,
Hmm.
so we landed in DC, and it was good until we got our luggage. I'm still excited, I'm still hyped, and start the minute I walk out, it was winter.
Ooh,
If anybody that lives in DC is live on this show,
I've been in New
that,
York in winter and I did not like it.
yeah. And
Mm-mm.
the minute I, like, we literally left, like, how the door opens automatically, and I go out, I see the snow, and I was on, like, with a t-shirt, and my mom kept saying, oh, you need to put it on, you need to put on your jacket. I'm like, nah. I'm like, I lived in Africa. I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit hot, right? But as the other, it's literally the opposite. And
Yeah.
I grabbed the snow, right, and I start eating it. You know, we used to eat the hails in Ethiopia. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And this thing start melting in my mouth. I'm like, hell yeah, and grab it. And my mom started freaking out. No, 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 no. Then I start getting cold. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't live here. I say, Mom, I can't
No.
live here. No.
Yeah.
But it's still like, you know, since that excitement was in there, like it was okay. And then yeah, we got
Yeah.
there. I got here like at night. So it
Mm-hmm.
was still like, you know, there was nothing I was gonna do or anything. It's just going straight home and sleep. Right. So when we got home, you know, I saw my little sister. I had a little, like I have a little sister. Back then, she was very, very little. I think she was about 3. So when I saw
Yeah.
her, you know, another Ethiopian, marahaba, I'm good. So, you know, she was up, you know, waiting for me. They were excited. And we went to bed. And the next day, they took me to McDonald's. You know, this is the first, you know, hoi hoi.
Yeah.
I tasted
Yeah.
that. I was like, no. I said, no, no, no. I'm not eating this.
Mhm.
Uh-uh. It just nothing made sense to me. After that, that was like my first slap on the face, basically. So
So you didn't like the burger?
no,
What was the
I did
reason?
not like the burger. Mm-mm.
At all?
Let me give you a story that why. A lot of people think I was gonna
Yeah.
get excited. I never had a burger before then.
Okay, that
So
explains.
I
Yep.
never had a burger like give me kita በለዋለሁ ቂጣ ከሰጠሽኝ እበላለሁ burger
Yes.
you know I rather you know ሽልጦ ምናምን I'm okay.
Yep.
ግን you know በርገር እንትን ሚት ተደራርበው ምናምን ፍራይዙን በላሁት ድንቹን ማለት
Yep.
እችንማ አውቃታለሁ እያልሽ
Listen.
ብትጠበስም ቢሆን ትበያለሽ. But as far as the burger,
Yes.
I said no, I'm not eating. አንዴ
Yes.
ገመትኩት በቃኝ። አንደኛ it was too big. ሁለተኛ it just like
Yes.
the grease and it just to me it wasn't no. But then it was like
የአሜሪካ
kind of
በርገራችን ደግሞ it's exaggerated
it's
as well. It's too
exaggerated like
much.
እናቴ በሳይዝ እኮ ነው የሚሸጡት። የሆነ
That's true.
የሆነ free will ነው የሚያስመስሉት like ሲመግቡሽ whether you gain weight or not it's not their business.
በራስ ምርጫ ነው።
በራስሽ ምርጫ ነው እና that was it like then like you know I kept thinking because throughout the day like I saw my mom that first day I saw my mom cooking and stuff and I
Yeah.
have to be honest I was lucky enough that my mom knew how to cook doro. She knew trouble was coming if she like didn't learn like you know she went on you like but she
Yeah.
was previously back home so she knew how to cook.
Yeah.
So like she was like you know she was trying
Yeah.
and you know I like you know I was outside coming inside playing and I had that smell like that familiar
Yeah.
smell like a holiday smell but it wasn't
Yeah.
even holiday but like I
Yep.
was like
Yep.
damn
Yep.
I said mom and she's like yeah I'm making you door I'm like hell yeah this is what I'm
Now
talking
we're
about
talking.
no you're making
Yep.
me feel like I'm home but that yeah that was the you know I would say that whole first experience of the United States so I had like before, and this is before I started going to school. But this one was like where I kind of had an idea trouble was coming. Like even though I
Mm-hmm.
was young, I knew it was coming. But just like there was no any other options.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like you just keep okay, you know, that's how we're gonna keep it. But it kind of gave me
Yeah.
a hint, almost a you know how it's going to be.
Straight away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I had the same kind of experience. With us, there was no Habesha people here in Sydney at all. Like if you want to see Habesha people, you gotta travel probably 45 minutes or something for someone to see you. And being refugees here at the first month, you have a caseworker that looks after you the whole month,
Yeah.
that does everything for you, that takes you everywhere and everything. And I had a little bit of better English than everybody, so I'm like, I know everything. So for you, you came in the middle of winter. For us, it was in the middle of summer. And Australia's summer, for everyone that knows it, it gets really hot. Like it can reach up to 47 degrees. Like it gets really extremely hot. That is when we came here. That was a shock. Like, and at the same time, I wanted to try every food. I was the opposite of you. I was like the ምግብ የሚሞክር for my family. They see something, they're like, let's try it. If I like it, they will eat it. If I don't like it, they won't eat it. Literally, that's what I used to do. I'm like, I see it, I'll try it. I'm like, nah, I like it or not.
Oh, God.
So that was my first thing, is like trying foods, because I just wanted, especially the fruits. I wanted to try different kind of fruit. The fruits that you see in the movies, you know, like it's like, oh my God, I see it. I want to try it. I want to try this. I want to try that. That was what I was going through my mind. Like, I want to try. I wanted to start speaking English more than anything. Do you know what I mean? For me, I can hear what they're saying, but have no idea, especially the Australian accent. Forget it. Nah, because what we learned back home is
British
American English.
Right?
It's not, yeah.
Actually.
So those were that, you know, the struggle, the first struggle, or the first impression I had about Australia is like, wow, it's all full of white people, no black people. What do we do now? What are we going to do? That was the first impression I had. It's like, I think the reason why I had that, I just remember my auntie's husband, he Googled it before we came here. He's like, oh, you're going to a country. He literally showed us Aboriginals, you know, the original Australians. He's just like, oh, it's not katama አይደለም. You're going to this, you know, ገጠር ነው እንደዚህ ነው. I'm like, why would UNCHR take us to a place where it's no different than Africa? That was going through my mind. Yeah. I'm like, why am I living? You know, what's the point? So once I got here to see everything, being a kid, you were gullible, you believed everything that you were told there. Sumeta, it's like, it's completely different. And that was 20 years ago. So the ATM card, everything, I'm like, oh my God, what is this? Do you know what I mean? Those are the things that impressed me about Australia. It was like completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is the impression I had. But thinking about being new in the country, let me ask you, what was your biggest struggle as a new Habesha young boy in America at that time?
Ooh, now you're getting into the serious and main question. So I would say, I mean, one, I was like you. There was nobody really I could relate to. And to be honest, I'm sure now there might be a lot of people, you know, that could relate to my story and what I went through in life. But at the time, there was no one. There was no, like, there were people, but I couldn't call them. I was new, and they were living in a different state. And like I said, and, you know, where we were from, consistently you're waiting your turn to leave that place and come to wherever you're going. It's about your luck, you know.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Can we just make it clear to everyone where I came from? Can you elaborate a little bit where you actually came from?
I was gonna make him wait.
Keep saying, I
was going to make him wait.
It's for them, they can pinpoint, you know. They can follow your story.
Okay. So basically, you know, when I introduced myself earlier, I said there was a little bit twist. So for me, back when I was living back home, I lost my parents as a child. I was very young. I was about 5 or 6. I lost basically my whole family, except, you know, uncles and brothers. But then I had to end up in the street. Then, you know, you go through the process of the street, and then I ended up, with God's, you know, given chance, I ended up in an orphanage. Qabana Kidana Mret. I don't know if any of you knows it, but it's called Qabana Kidana Mret. It's a Catholic church and also Catholic school, also an orphanage. So I grew up there, and there like there were per se there were a lot of kids. There was even
Mm-hmm.
when I was there, we were about 300.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, even prior me getting in there, there were others. They were just leaving. Some of them getting older, getting kicked out. Some of them just leaving in every direction you could think of. It wasn't just America.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just Australia. It wasn't just London. It's everywhere in the world. So we were
Yeah.
getting adopted. So our first prayer every morning was to leave that place, to leave outside of the country and never return. There
Yeah.
was no thinking of returning. For
Mm.
us, you gotta understand, like a lot of people know, like they say, oh, why would you want to return, But at the moment, at that time, we were looked over, we were looked down on, we were frowned upon, so there was no return. We never cared.
Yeah.
So it's like we already had our mental so broken, we just wanted to leave. So,
Yeah.
fast forward after, getting adopted. So when I say in this live, when I say my parents are white. So
White.
I
Yeah.
was adopted. And also when I said, I know everybody was expecting that, oh, my sister is Ethiopian. Yeah, she is Ethiopian, and she was adopted from a different orphanage. It's called Leila House in Ethiopia. But she was adopted 3 years prior me getting here. So they had
Yeah.
experience. My parents had experience of adopting from Ethiopia. So that's when my mom learned how to cook doro and how to cook Ethiopian food. So
Yeah.
that's, where the story is coming from. So going back to, like, coming here and having that, like, just being a Habesha boy, like diaspora, like I guess out, the whole diaspora situation. But
Yeah.
like, I'll tell you guys what made it so hard. I was in that between, like, I was in that middle age, becoming a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
like, as a young kid, right? I was in that between,
Yep.
so
Yeah.
I knew what I went through, especially in Ethiopia. When you go through, you just don't forget. You don't act like a kid
Yep.
anymore. The
Yep.
way you act, the way you move is different. So I like when I got there, when I got like to Virginia, I knew I had friends, but I didn't know where they were.
Yep.
So there was no phone, there was no mail, there was nothing. I could really, even if there was, I didn't know how to operate those kind of things.
Yep.
So to me, it was very difficult because one, I didn't see any Ethiopians. I know people think when I said Virginia, oh, there are Ethiopians. No, not Richmond, Virginia. No, it's
Yep.
a majority of African Americans and whites. So it was like that made me miserable, I'll tell you. Like, to make it quite simple, it made me really miserable
Yep.
because two things. One, just from the personal reason, the fact that I have to call these two people mom and dad. I already knew my mom. My dad, not so much back
Yeah.
home, but I already knew my mom. And,
Yeah.
when it comes down to her, I do not tolerate anything, absolutely anything.
Yeah.
So, like, I will turn into this evil person if you say anything. I don't matter. Like, no, nothing.
Yeah.
So, right? So when you have a kid with that kind of feeling and
Yeah.
someone else is trying to help him, and also they want to remind you should be grateful, not
Yep.
understanding where you came from, that's the worst feeling. You want to
Mm.
burst out.
Yeah.
I, as a kid, believe it or not, I was this little short kid, but I was also a leader of a pack.
Bismillah.
Let's not talk about
Keep
heights.
going.
But
Okay.
but I was a leader of a pack. That's what,
Yeah.
like, really makes it so hard. Back home, I was like this feisty kid who fought every day at school. and I had my own pack. So when I say fight, we're gonna go fight. You know, at school, we're
Yeah.
beating the hell out of a kid, 20 kids against one, right? So we're doing those
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So you come here, it's like someone is telling you, oh, I'm your mom, I'm your dad, and you have to do this, you have to do that.
Yeah.
How could I? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not used to people telling me what to do.
Yeah.
You know, I was my own person. I was my own leader. So kind of like one, not having the people that I want like to speak the language, and I wasn't good at English. We were learning. So when the chance comes and the orphanage gets that message, oh, this kid is about to get adopted. He got a family. Then that English, like you try to practice that English. She will tell you, like the nan that was raising us will tell us, to practice. But hi,
Yeah.
how are you? You know, the
Yeah.
stomach is hungry ምናምን ነው እናቴ ሌላ ምንም
Yeah.
የለውም ከገባ በኋላ አላናግርሽም የራስሽ ጉዳይ ነው ግን but that's how it was you know
Yeah.
but that like so to me I was lost actually
Yeah.
I was really lost and they really thought like the school would have helped. I became the same me when I was in Ethiopia. Meaning, when I was in Ethiopia, I had this defense mechanism.
Yeah.
You say something to me, the first thing is gonna go fly. This first thing I'm gonna do is my head will be flying into your nose. That's it. Literally. So,
Yep.
it was so built for so long. Even though I was in an environment that I could fix everything with just dialogue. That wasn't it.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. My head or my fist comes first before I say anything. I used to not talk to anybody. So it was like you get used to that's how it was. That's how like in Ethiopia, like somebody says something to you, like especially for us, we had to earn that
Yeah.
respect. So we needed
Yeah.
to be feared because like I was going to a private school, all right? And you guys could
Yeah.
imagine going into a private school with people that have a little bit of money. You're like
Yeah.
a second class citizen. So with this with a fist and a fight, you become the first class citizen with them. So it was
Yep.
like because you're feared, right? So that's what I wanted to implement when I got here. I didn't want anybody
Yeah.
to mess with me. I just wanted to go to school. And I just didn't want anybody like I want to deal with because I didn't
Yeah.
have that I didn't have that comfort. So
Yeah.
I'm like basically alone. Sorry to say it, but I was like a lone soldier trying to survive in an environment you go in, everybody speaks same language except you. Because you wouldn't recognize anyone else different speaking a different language. There were Spanish kids, Mexicans and stuff, but they had people they were speaking with. I
Yeah.
felt so lonely. I felt so miserable. I started becoming more angrier, and angrier, and just that anger developed so much to the point where I
Yeah.
could not control it. So that's how I felt. Like it kind of built this hatred, this anger and depression, anxiety, anything you could think of that is bad.
Yeah.
I had it inside me. That was it. Like for me,
At
the
that
first
age, at that
experience of
young
me, yeah,
age.
at that age, because I was going through so much even when I was, back home. Here I
Yeah.
am, a kid who lost his parents, who's coming to America for a better future. But then I
Yeah.
was hit with a language barrier, a different culture, different mom and dad, and different brothers and sisters. And it was just so like,
Yeah.
the school, like, I didn't go out to play soccer. The one thing that made me forget the pain I was in, that was taken away
Yeah.
from me when I got here.
Yeah.
That fun part, like even as you guys remember, like when we were kids, we go outside of our door and here we are, all of us in the street, right? We didn't have that. When
Yeah.
you go out on the street, it's quiet, dead. Kids don't play outside in the street. Kids play inside their home, video games. I still hate video games. At this age, I still hate video games. I do not like video games.
Don't be angry at the video games. The video games
I
don't do anything to you.
no, I was so angry. Like I hated everything about it. Like I hated everything about America. Like
Yeah.
because one, the food was like I said, the food started my first experience. The school made the second like and the worst experience of it.
Yeah.
So to me, being a like Habesha kid that came to at that age, it just like I said, I think somebody said it in the comments. That was the worst age to come to America. And when you're carrying so much burden, when you're carrying so much pain at that age, and I feel for those who actually came at the same age as me, as I feel like it's better like when you come like look, younger than 8 or so. I think it's better because you could adapt quickly. As a child, you could just
Yeah.
play with everybody. You don't care about language or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back then, for me, I feel like I said, it was one of the worst experiences that I had. Just starting to have,
Yeah.
like it didn't get any better on even after past that. It was just the like middle school. I was I believe in 6th grade when I started,
Yeah.
and the experience was not pleasant to me. So that first, as a Habesha way at that age in the United States, it's one of the worst experiences, I would say. Do I have any positives? Hard to say. There was so little, it was hard to see.
Yeah.
Could that have been, a switch of things for me? I don't know. I don't know because I didn't have help to make me recognize certain things. I was
Yeah.
like I said, like I was built to be my own man, to be my
Yeah.
own person. So really, like
Yeah.
even if you come a long way to along to teach me certain things at that age, trust me, it would
Yeah.
have been hell, and I would have hated you for it. Trying to, I would say trying to change me. No, I
Yeah.
would tell you, I will be honest with you. I hated America. At the same time, I hated Ethiopia. I never wanted to go back. So
Yeah.
for me, as being in the same environment, literally trying to survive, right? So
Yeah.
it's like again, like saying I felt like the lone soldier is basically, I was a soldier there trying to survive.
Yeah.
I was just put in a different location.
Yeah.
So returning back was not crossing my mind.
Yeah.
So I was just that same. Nah, I wouldn't say same because I was not miserable there. I had fun. Here I was just
That's
miserable.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like regardless of what we go through in Ethiopia, there is this happiness that comes from just being surrounded by people like us, you know.
Yeah.
But here, I didn't know anybody. I didn't speak the language. My brothers, they were younger than me. I'm the oldest in the family, and it was just nothing really made it like, it just nothing made it
Yeah.
so comfortable to stay.
That's that. Um,
How was
it
it
is
like here?
very fascinating. For me, the biggest struggle for me was not being Miss Popular anymore. I was Miss Popular back in Ethiopia. I was like that, Miss Congeniality kind of personality at school that everybody knew, that everybody was my friend, that, everybody I knew was my friend as well at school. I was known from principal until kindergarten. Everyone knew me. So losing that and not being able to have new friends and being able to tell them how I feel, that was the biggest struggle for me. It's like I felt so empty. Like no matter what I did, no matter where I went, it's just not even going to school. I was put in this school where you have to do high school and learn English at the same time. So everyone that is there doesn't even speak English to even have friends. So you all have to, get those little Englishes that hello, how are you,
Yeah.
all these, like ነጠብጣብ English ያለህን አገጣጥመህ, you have to make friends with that. And that is the biggest struggle. And on top of that, it's like I am a nobody anymore. I am not, I don't have a control of everybody. I'm not fighting every Friday because I used to fight every Friday. If I see you bullying someone, Friday, there's a fight happening on Friday afternoon. It's known, አጋዚያን አብሮኝ የተማረ ሰው በሙሉ ያውቃሉ. I used to fight. If I don't like people bullying somebody, I don't care who you are, I don't care how big you are, I will punch you on your face on Friday afternoon. That's it. That's how it goes down. So losing that was the biggest problem for me. I'm like, okay, what do I do now? I am no longer that, famous
Yeah.
in a sense, like I'm not that person that was so important to everybody. Everybody came to me with their problems. Let's see, እቺ ልጅ አስቸገረችኝ. let's see, ይሄ ልጅ ምሳዬን በላብኝ. let's see, ይሄ ልጅ ደብተር. All that drama that I used to think wasn't that much. Even playing soccer with the boys back home, lunch break የሚያልፈው ኳስ ጫወት ነው. Here, like I literally had no one. Like I'm stuck here with my sister and my 2 brothers. And then at that time, you are already in a new country. You just want to hate people. You just want to kill people. It's like, leave me the hell alone. And it's just, that was the biggest struggle for me.
Man.
And then on top of that, to add the language.
Yes.
To make it worse, you are in Australia. How are you, ስትባል how old are you የተባልክ እየመሰለህ እድሜን የምትናገርበት ሀገር ነው የመጣሁት. Seriously, that is a real experience. How are you ተብለን I am 16-year-old ብለን የመለስንበት ጊዜ ነው. But it is a very fun experience. That was the biggest struggle. Besides the struggle, my next question is going to be it's kind of similar kind of question, but the culture shock.
Oof. Oh God.
What was the culture shock that you experienced? And how did you manage it? How did you manage to cope with it? Like, the culture shock that you had?
Yeah.
What was the biggest one?
I'll tell you, like, just the biggest one, like I told you, the biggest one is not being able to spend time after school with my friends. Like, I don't see people being so close. To me, that took everything away from me. I'm a people's person.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
I'm let me give you this picture, okay? You live with 300 kids for 7-8 years.
Wow.
Okay? You're playing every day. You're studying together. You're brother and sister. You're eating together. You're having a fight together.
Yeah.
Right? You come here. It's literally dead. It's like basically, like it was like, take me out of that 300 group and just drop me in the middle of nowhere. So what that created in my head is just an emotional breakdown. Just, I could feel my heart was so broken. I could feel I was empty inside. Just full of anger and depression and full of this eagerness to literally tear everything apart. Right? So that, like, to me, like, from having that family oriented feeling inside the orphanage, and even in our country, you don't even need to be inside the orphanage. Jesus, like, you go out on the street, like, ጠጅና ቢራ ከሚጠጡት ጋር ቁጭ ብለሽ አያስጠጡሽም፣ ግን ቁጭ ብለሽ ትዝናኛለሽ። I swear, when እኛ ድድ ማስጫ, when we used to do listro, I used to do listro. Right? Like, that's the fun part. Like, ታክሲ ላይ እየወጣሽ እንትን ፍሩት ይጭነው አልነበረ? በምላጭ እየተደረን ፍሩቱ እንዲወድቅ እናደርግና እያነሳን እንሮጥ ነበር. Like, it was fun. I know it was spinning, but hey.
I was a listener, but I was Bakolo Shach, so I know that feeling of running around with that people. So I know that feeling.
When people are not willing to pay after we clean their shoes, we literally used to take off and run with their one single pair of shoes. We used to run. All those things could play in your head. Right? Thinking of those, I used to smile. but it kind of switches off when I'm reminded that I'm here. So it's
Yeah.
like, you go forward, you come back, you go forward, you come back, you go forward, you come back. So it just made me so anxious and so dead inside.
Yeah.
Because it's like, somebody's giving you food to eat when you're so hungry, and then they take it back before you take that first bite, when you're ready to take that first
Yeah.
bite, right? So
Yeah.
it was like that. So that was it. Like, and I'm sorry to say this, but I didn't cope with it for a long time. I didn't know how. I had
Yeah.
zero guidance.
Yeah.
But one thing I had that my parents did good was putting me in a club for soccer. That was it. That kind of gave me. We had practice every day. I had school. We had practice every day. So when I went, I felt alive when I went to the field, not at school, but when I went to the club and to practice and stuff, I had about 2 hours every day, right? That's basically how I was coping with it. So having that soccer feeling, everybody like, when you're new kid and you're good at what you do, every white kid wanna be your friend. And like everybody
Yeah.
that, then I start getting that feeling. Like, when I was in Ethiopia, like, I was good at soccer, I was good at fighting. So I had friends.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I was making friends based on like, what I'm good at, but you survive. But
Yeah.
that was one thing I was able to cope with my like culture shock and stuff. That's not even like, you can't even call it coping with, because you're just like you're
Yeah.
forgetting for moments, like for hours
Yeah.
or so. But that is still
Yeah.
like, it created a little bit of happiness to me, not to harm myself.
Yeah.
Like I always think of like, what if I had that 2 hours just by myself inside a room? I always think of it because at that time I was, to be honest, like this is gonna, like, the good thing is like, I'm not scared to share what like my experience was. So
Yeah.
during that time, that would be what, my second year, third year in the United States. I was ready to take it out. Like I was ready to go. I was ready to meet my maker. Like I said, I'm done. Like I can't say like, because at the same time I was fighting with my parents. Like I said, I didn't have like anyone that says I'm your mom, or like, she's like your mom, and no, I don't give me that. I knew my
Yeah.
mom, I knew what she was, and she's gone. I'm okay
Yeah.
with it. Like at the time I thought I accepted it. So it
Yeah.
was like that. Like, I was ready. Like I said, what is the point of it? Because I
Yeah.
was so like, when I was there, I was so happy when you're gonna go to America, but like you come here, like nothing is like what you expected or what you heard of. So
Yeah.
like I said, when I was back home, it was already built up, but I was able to cope with it by like spending time with people like me.
Yeah.
So regardless how your parents die, you had 300 people that their parents died. Their parents were HIV positive, things like that. So they ended up there.
Yeah.
So we all had something going on with our parents,
In common.
right?
Yeah. We
So
had something in
we
common.
have
Yeah.
something common. So you get along.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but inside you, because even inside the orphanage in Ethiopia, remember, mental health actually now it's getting noticed a little bit, not even as much as we want to, but just a little bit,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
we didn't have the balls to go out, say somebody, hey, like talk to me. We didn't even know what that meant.
Mm. Yeah.
We didn't even know to go talk about your problems.
Yeah.
It's like you go out, you play soccer, you forget about it. You want to athlete, it hits you, and then you kind of
Yeah.
go like in that you corner that you like, you sit and you think. But inside you, like one thing I didn't know, like I didn't know it was building up inside. But at
Yep.
that
The
moment,
trauma build up.
yeah, at
Yep.
that moment, I realized, like when I said I was ready, like after I got in a fight with my mom, and እንትን ፖሊስ ጠርታ ነበር እና
Yeah.
I lost it. I really lost it. That like I don't know how to explain this, but it just like, you know, at that age to feel like you had nothing left.
Mm,
Jesus Christ. Now I think about it, I was like, you know, I don't know how I came out of it. Maybe I do. And, you know, I would share what I have done. But you kind of question, was that actually enough for me to get out of that kind of mental state of mind? I don't know.
yeah,
But you know, it
yeah,
might be God's, it might be my mom following me everywhere I go. But that's how it was. And so that culture shock coming here made it just worse. It's just
yeah,
like not having that little thing you enjoy the most is to laugh with friends, the family. Even if you see
yeah,
like families, like I don't know if any of you have been adopted or like lived with white people. Dinner time, kids, dinner is ready. Literally, grab your food, freaking go to your room and eat like while watching TV or playing video games. What kind of shit is that? Like for
yeah,
once, eat together, laugh together. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
yeah,
What is so family about this?
yeah,
So that's also that I guess we could include that in a culture shock. There was no that togetherness
yeah,
to eat, you know, like have a feast together, and that just made me even worse inside. So kind of
yeah.
it wasn't getting easier. It was just getting worse. That's why I said like it just made me feel like I was ready to go. I was like I was not ready to return back home, so I was ready to meet my maker. I said join my mother. I was okay with it. And I felt like
Wow.
that was, at the time, that was a decision I would have never regretted because I had this high hopes that I'm gonna meet my mom. That was it.
Wow.
And out of this
Um,
misery, I prefer that.
so how did you cope with that feeling though that you had?
So with that feeling, like it continued, I would say it continued for a long time. For
Yeah,
you know, and then here you go, another one. Let me hit you with another one. And don't assume that I feel like I don't want you guys to think like I'm here like to get sympathy out of you guys. I don't feel bad for me. Like I am like you look at me like I'm able to talk about it today. So just keep
yeah,
that in mind when I'm sharing this story with you guys. So to make it worse for me, my parents here got divorced. So you could like so you could think basically I was left again. I was left alone like with nothing because
yeah,
mind you, okay, so even though like I didn't like you know I wasn't ready to call them mom and dad, it still gave me a little bit of comfort, the fact that there is someone looking out for me. I wasn't in
yeah,
the streets anymore,
yeah,
right? There was a little bit sense of family,
yeah,
you know, besides, you know, the whole culture differences and stuff. You will feel that. Like you'll feel that someone has your back,
yeah,
right? But when that happened, I was done. I was like, I don't know, like even like, you know, they actually came to us, came to the kids and said, oh, you know, we're getting divorced. I said, what does divorce mean? Hey guys, I wasn't acting dumb. I didn't know what it was. I didn't. I said, what is divorce? And they're like, oh, we're gonna live separately. I said, but you guys are husband and wife. Why would
yeah,
you live separately? She's like, no, my dad was like, no, we're done being husband and wife. And she's
yeah,
gonna, you know, she's gonna stay here with the kid that's like with my brothers and sister.
yeah,
And he's like, if you have that choice too. If you want to, you can stay with her. If you don't, you can come with me. I
yeah,
said, yeah, where are we going? He's like, New York. New York, his parents live. My grandmother, my favorite of all time. I love her to death. And what I remembered when he said New York was my best friend, Hailey.
yeah,
like a lot of people say, like we looked exactly like, and we used to use that to our advantage when we were in school back home. So everybody used to think we were alike. So we did some dumb stuff, but you know,
Okay.
then that clicked in my head.
Yeah.
I said, yes, New York. We're going to New York.
Yeah.
So, we moved to New York. We started, and then, I got his number and everything. I called him. I said, "Hi, Lee, I'm in New York." He's like, "Oh, where in New York?" I said, "First, we moved to upstate New York, so Albany, New York, if you guys know it." And he's like, "Oh, I live in Syracuse." I'm like, "Where is it?" I said, "Syracuse, Yetno. Where is Syracuse?" And he's like, "Oh, Yetna and Tallinn." I was like, "Oh, like I live in Albany." I said, "Like my grandmother." And he's like, "Oh, it's like 3 hours." I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't win.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is another 3 hours. I don't drive. I was like, what, 14, 15? So I was like, shit,
Yeah.
I'm done. And then, so that, like, I was done with 8th grade. Though I was going high school, so a new high school. So it didn't really, that move didn't make any change. So high school, when you go to high
Yeah.
school, sometimes you get lucky enough to move up with your classmates. But for me, didn't make much difference,
Yeah.
right? So my grandmother, she raised her kids basically the way we were raised. She's a very family-oriented person. She had her own struggles and things like that. Their come-ups was great. Like I could relate.
Like old school. Old
Yeah,
school stuff.
old school. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could relate to their come-ups. So it's really great.
Yeah.
So when I moved with her that summer we started getting along. Believe it or not, we start talking.
Yeah.
Like that was the first person I felt so like connected to.
Yeah.
She had, per se, you guys are gonna be surprised with this. She had that motherly sense, like
Yeah.
you just like the way she opened up was different.
Yeah.
I would say like because I could see a comment saying what was the turning point. I think in a way, I would say that was the turning point for me to get along with someone, to call my own.
Yeah.
Okay, to feel
Yeah.
that I have someone. Okay, I could go to someone. Right. Then
Yeah.
I ended up in high school. Then the high school, like, there was a tryout for soccer. I tried out. I was a ninth grader playing with seniors. So I made the varsity
Yeah.
team, which was, the biggest one in the like in the school. So I was getting along, like I was making friends. Even though they were making fun of my accent, I did not care. I said I was
Yeah.
okay with it because I knew the word
Before.
FU too. So I would say that. Like I never cared.
Yep.
If you mistaken me to be weak, like I get on your face. So that didn't change.
Yeah.
As we were going, then me and my dad, like, my dad bought a house and we started living together. And that was a new for him too. That was new for me. That
Yeah.
was new for him. So I, until that point, I used to think me and dad used to get along. But then, you know how sometimes people say living with your wife is different than before you get married.
You had to go there, didn't you? You had to go there, didn't you?
It's a lot of, they said, I'm not saying it's bad. It's a lot of work, they said. I don't know what,
All right.
but I will find out soon. But, um,
Yep.
you know, but like, so we kind of like, I think to be per se, not to talk about his business, but I think he was going through it to the divorce, that, and I
Yeah.
have this pain that hasn't left yet my system.
Yeah.
So you see, I thought we got along because I didn't see him as much because he was working a lot. When we were in Virginia, he was working a lot. I mean, he was working as much, but when he came home, I saw him. When I wake up in the morning to go to school, I saw him, we talked, and things like that.
Yep.
All right. So like, it got worse. My anger
Yeah.
like took the everything away from me. Like when I say everything, it just my anger took a different toll
Yeah.
because here you go, like a single father trying to raise a teenager with so much pain, and he didn't know how to help me
Yeah.
because I, as a child, he had his own issue, like then that's personal. That's my dad's story,
Yeah.
but they had to go through struggles, so they never
Yeah.
had that guidance to be
Yeah.
a father to a teenager. He was all like he was young, believe it or not, guys. When I was 15, my dad was like 30, 31, 32.
Whoa.
So he was young too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm half of his age. So at the time, so it was like, it was difficult for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to give you the turning point, the biggest turning point, yeah, after going into the cycles over and over again, going through one time, I lost it. So he was taking me to school, right? We got in a fight about something. He was driving 40 miles an hour. I opened the door, jumped out. I jumped out. Like I said, I was done. Nothing happened to me. I got up. All I saw was my knee was bleeding. I walked all the way home. He just ended up going to work, right? I think he sensed something
Wow.
when he was at work. He saw me getting up and moving. So he thought I was okay. I went home, destroyed everything. When I tell you guys destroyed everything, I destroyed everything. Picture things like coffee, the coffee pads, everything, like destroyed the house, made it look like when you leave a dog, like what they do with your couch. But
Yeah.
that's literally what I did. I destroyed the house like it was nothing. And
Wow.
I was basically, I had a rope. I made a rope out of my shoelaces. I was ready to risk it
Mm.
all. But then I had my mom's picture right on that's the only thing, by the way, that's the only thing I didn't destroy. I had it in a frame. I still have it with the same frame back then. So that was set. Right next to her, I put the rope. I was trying to think of like a good reason why I should do it.
Wow.
And
I shouldn't be
literally,
laughing, but it's just
no,
like for
it's
you to
right
sit
now.
there and actually just even have that state of mind where
Yeah,
what is my good reason to do this?
to
Like
do
you were
this. Yeah.
actually sensible enough that you were aware what you were doing. It requires a reason why you are doing it.
And I expected the picture to speak to me saying, "Come home." Literally, literally at that age, that's what I was expecting. I thought she was gonna say, "Come to me,"
Yeah.
and I was like, then I left the house, and it was about 3 p.m. in the afternoon, 4 p.m. I returned. My grandma was by the door. My aunt was by the door. I think about four cops. They were looking for me everywhere. I was at my friend's house. I was hiding. He knew what was going on. I was hiding. But um, so when I got to the house, it was like four cops. Mind you, to me, cops, whoever you were, like you didn't mean shit to me back then.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to like question me. I said, "Who are you?" "Oh, we're the police."
Yeah.
So it's like almost Managaba type of stuff. Like I
Yeah.
don't care who you are. "Oh, you destroyed the
Yeah.
property." I said, "It's my house." He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is your dad's house." And I said, "Did my dad call you?" He said, "No." I'm like, "Then why are you here?" And he's like, "No, your dad want us to look for you. He was worried about you." And then the minute I start getting, very aggressive with them, and then they were to ask him, like a question, like, so this was not, so by the, I'm telling, the question that I asked him was revealed to me years later by my grandmother. Okay.
Okay, what was the
So
question?
the question that I asked him was, I was very aggressive, not mentally stable, and if they wanted to take me to a psych facility or like to
Wow.
kind of get medication, psych medication.
Yeah.
He said, fuck you and leave my property. He's home. I told you to find him, but he's home. He came home, leave. And then that was it.
Wow.
So after, that was never revealed to me, but I saw them just, coming out of the house after speaking to him. I was standing outside with my grandmother. I was cussing at him. So, with my grandmother, I was smacked around.
Yeah.
So when I cussed at him, I said, fuck you, Dad. I was smacked. She's like, not in my house.
Yep.
She's like, you do not say that.
Yeah.
To be honest, guys, so that smack on the face made me even more closer to her. I didn't feel like an abuse.
Yeah.
I felt like someone cared enough to shut me up. Nobody ever done that.
Yeah.
And you already know, I would not put my hands on my grandmother, if someone else. I feel like if that was my dad, I would have. With that
Yeah.
rage I have inside me, I would have, because I was looking for someone to take it out, and I blamed him for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then at a certain point, after that, that life started getting better. As the school opened, the high school, kids
Yeah.
start coming to my house requesting for me. So the town has put up
Yeah.
this, this great soccer player is in town, and go welcome him in. Ladies, man, they came to the house hey, Fred, my name is this, my name is that, I go to your school, we'll be same grade and we'll be the same teammates.
Yeah.
And and that way they came to my house. I felt actually great.
Yeah.
And then I told my dad I want to live with my grandmother, and he was okay with it. Grandma was okay with it. So the term, to me, one of okay, I am living okay. I said that when the whole school opened freshman year. So I have what I had inside me, but for that, it helped a lot, to have friends, actually, to
Yeah.
get out, just after school, and be by, we had a waterfall by my house,
Yeah.
and everybody lived close to each other. So that same feeling came back, from Ethiopia, when after
Yeah.
school you
I was
just
just
sit
about to
down
say
and
that
talk, and
it gave you something.
yeah,
Yeah.
it gave me something to look forward to after school, after practice. And start,
Yeah.
people will give me a ride and say, oh, we're gonna grab after class or after practice, they say, we're gonna grab something to eat, you want to come? Yeah. We start
Yeah.
doing that, and living with my grandmother and talking to her was one of the best things, because she starts revealing stories about dad, about her kids. And by the way, she is a phenomenal woman, honestly, one of the best women I have ever encountered. And I want, I wish each woman could be like her, to have patience and to deal with what she dealt with, when even after raising her own kids with the struggle, and me entering with a different culture, different mindset. It was
Yeah.
but she took care of me so nicely,
Yeah.
smoothly, but because even therapists couldn't do it. I'm a person who said fuck you to a therapist and left in the middle of a session, because she pissed
Wow.
me off. The fact that she sits there and she's like, okay, so what happened next? No, fuck you, I'm not saying shit. I left. That's
Yeah.
all I said. And my dad will tell
Yeah.
you that. And so my mom, my grandmother was everything, therapist, grandmother, mother. No, are you surprised I
Only
said
one.
mother?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the only one,
Yeah.
because she kind of, she started revealing her story,
Yeah.
how she grew up, how she raised her kids. So I felt like me and my grandmother being able to speak every Sunday morning. You know, we had all week, but Sunday we never escaped it. Coffee, breakfast, and talk. She opens up, I open up. She opens up, she has to open up first for me to open up.
Yep.
Little by little, day by day, like that, like basically my heart started opening up to her. So she built that bridge for me, like basically to say it's okay.
Yep.
You know, the pain and stuff, and you know, she has lost a dear husband to her, like one she loved, like very dearly. So that kind
Yep.
of related to me losing my mom, and you know, having that like those thoughts going through.
Yep.
So that was, I think that was the turning point. Moving with her would have been like the biggest turn. And it just, we connected at a different level. We still are connected, like more than I'm connected to any of my family members.
Yep.
But it just like, she was the turning point, I would say. Nothing else but she. Nothing like she was the turning point to me, to my life. So that would have been the
Yeah.
biggest, yeah.
Yeah. I think Maki said, I think because she connected with you on your level and she experienced loss as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was about to say. I think for me, hearing for her to be a turning point from all of that, what you were going through, you needed someone that had the experience of losing someone they love so much and that understands the pain of losing someone you love and understanding of the struggle growing up as a kid, you know,
yeah,
her opening up. And then the fact that she trusted you enough to open up about her story
yeah,
is like, okay, I can trust her. And the fact that she cared enough, as you say, to smack you around and say, no, one day, that is not right, don't do it. That showed you that she cared. Because if your mom was around, that's what she would have done. As when you're a parent, when you care so much, sometimes you act out in a certain way to show them you actually care about that. And um, so your grandma was, I feel like she had the whole package of
yes,
what you were looking as
yes,
growing up and that
yes,
everywhere that you were finding and you couldn't find it. Finally, it's a blessing in disguise your parents divorcing. I know it's a sad thing, but it was, if
it's
it
a blessing
wasn't
in
for that,
disguise.
you wouldn't go live. Yes, you wouldn't go live with your
Yeah.
grandmother.
No, I would tell
You
you,
know
I
what I
would
mean?
have ended up in jail if that never happened. If I was still in Virginia,
Yeah,
Virginia, I would
yeah,
say it's the most racist state I have ever been,
yeah,
and I would like really, I had trouble. Like I broke a kid's nose when I was there,
yeah,
and if I continued with that, like I would have end up in jail, or even you know, I used to give my grandma this excuse. You see, like I was so stubborn to let go of the pain. Sometimes I don't know,
yeah,
guys. Like I don't know how if anybody could relate, but sometimes you get obsessed with being in pain. It kills you inside, but like I was okay with it for some odd
you're
reason.
addicted to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you know nobody was willing to fuck with me, you know, or
yeah,
like you know
that
fuck
gave you
around.
power.
It gave me power,
Yeah,
like you know, to outburst whenever you say something stupid.
yeah,
So you know when my
yeah,
grandma used to like she would laugh now. You know, she would give me the experience, right? Her like you know she lost this and then, but grandma, like you were older, okay? Like no, I don't have a mom to grow up with. Like you were older when you lost your husband. You guys are old,
yeah,
and but she had a way to make me believe it was okay.
yeah,
And you know the same advice came each Sunday. She is like, you always cried looking at her pictures.
yeah,
She's like that giving you purpose. She's like start writing, start talking to her with writing. She's like, who? I said, when she said write, I don't know what the
yeah,
mail is gonna go to heaven, and she's like, yeah. Go ahead and write it on your computer, on your paper. Go ahead. I'll deliver it myself. That's how she was. So, you know, I was writing since
Yeah.
2011. Even right to this day, I'm writing. So,
Yeah.
you know, she's also the one that motivated me to start writing. Guys, I didn't know writing could make you so feel so good. Like let everything out on
Mm-hmm.
paper. That's something unexpected to me. It's like talking to a
Yeah.
paper and you lay it out. And you know, I'll tell her, hey, grandma. So this, I talked about, like I tell her, like you know, each Sunday throughout the week, I would write. On Sunday, she would say like, oh, what did you write about? You
Yeah.
see the trick she's playing? She's asking me to write it, so she asked me what I wrote about. Then we talk about that, and then I bring up a subject, right? Well, you know, I talked about like the orphanage experience and stuff, and then she starts talking. You know, so what was it like in the orphanage? That was her trick in the
Yeah.
bag. Like right now, it's like this. I'm realizing
Yeah.
after everything passed, right? I'm
Yeah.
realizing like she was letting me open up in my own way, like by letting
Yeah.
me write first, then letting me speak to her about like letting it out to someone.
Yeah.
So that was the trick she was playing, and I was really happy and open. You know, I wasn't feeling any soreness inside. Like I wasn't feeling anything. Like it was naturally came like flowing every Sunday. So every
Yeah.
Sunday there was a different story. There was a different chapter.
Yeah.
And so it was a blessing to have her. I think I would say as far as the United States, I think she saved me. I would say I think really she really saved me and made me become a better man than I think I would have ever turned out to be.
Yeah, I think
So credit to
we
her.
see that. I don't think we would have been sitting here and having this
Oh
conversation if it wasn't for her.
no,
So
mm-mm.
everybody, love heart, red love heart, purple heart, whatever it is to your grandma. What's your grandma's name?
Pat Pasco, Patricia.
Pat, Patricia. Thank you, Patricia, for not wanting him to kill us every time he talks to us. Because if it wasn't for her, I don't think we would have been having this conversation.
No, we
And
wouldn't.
me being a kind of person that always gives you a hard time in the DMs, whatever
Yeah.
you post, I think you would have flown out to Australia and would have killed me.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm always, you know, teasing you and giving you a
Seriously.
hard time. Wow, I don't even know what to say after that. That is like full on. Yeah, I'm lost for words. Like that experience, I think we can all relate in a sense where we all burst out as a teenagers
Yeah.
and we all need that guidance that, you know, needs you to tell you it's okay. It's going to be okay. I think that's what you had.
Yeah.
Making everything sound normal. It's okay to lose someone you love. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to go trash your whole entire home. She made it sound normal. She made it sound okay. It's okay. I think having that, I think that's what we are looking for as a teenager.
Yeah.
For you to make mistakes and for someone to hug you and still tell you, I love you. It's okay. Everything is going to be okay. We got this. We're going to take care of this together. We're going to handle this together.
Yeah.
I think that is something every young person, regardless of what the gender is, we all go through it. And that is sometimes when it's unsolved, when it's the issue, like ገና ሲጀምር, the fact that አንተ እሱ ስላገዘህ, you are in a different place. You are in a different state of mind because it helped you get out of it quickly.
Yep.
I think if you reached the 20, 21, 22, it would have been, I think, a little too late.
It would have been. Yeah.
Because not only you could have come out of it, but for example, for me, because I didn't have that, it has led me to have anxiety and depression at this age now, because it came out later on. Instead of having someone to help me deal with it then and there and help me understand what I was feeling, what I was going through, instead of me opening up to somebody and telling them, this is what's going on, this is what has happened to me. And at least you had that that you can express your feelings by destroying the house, by yelling at someone, by punching someone. Somehow you let them see you are in pain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But the fact that I didn't have that, that's what makes it different from you. I didn't, me, ስናደድ እጮሃለሁ፣ ድምጼ ይሰማህ ሊሆን ይችላል. But at the end of the day, I never opened up. I'm never aggressive at home. I'm never physical.
Yeah.
You can hear me yell, but that's it. And then at the end, 30 minutes later, I'll tell myself, it's fine, don't worry about it. No one cares about it. Forget it, move on. I come back as new.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know is it builds up.
Yes.
And it comes out later on in life, and it comes back and bites you in the ass.
Yeah. It comes out the worst way.
And when it hits you, you don't even know what you are feeling, because it's not even something, the reason why you should be feeling that way. It's not even the same thing that, I'm angry about it. No, it's the whole different thing that happened 10, 20 years ago that comes back as a trauma now, and you don't even know that is what is making you feel that way.
Yeah.
So you feel lost and confused. It's like, why am I making a big deal about spilled milk? That is not the reason why I'm acting this way. And it took a while for me to understand what I'm going through is actually a trauma. What I'm going through is actually anxiety. What I'm actually going through is depression.
Yeah.
To use those words and have it understanding in my mind, to sit there and tell Nati, you are fucked. Get over it. No, I had to tell myself, you're going through this, and how are you going to deal with it? And as you said, for me, therapy, I'm going to sit there and I feel like it's a job interview.
Yeah.
Like it's the biggest, actually, I recommend it to everybody, but when it comes to myself, this for me is a big therapy. Because I can relate, I can talk to you, and I can open up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is so hard to find, even if I was going to go through therapy, which I recommend for everyone, if they can find that someone that they are comfortable enough to do the therapy, I recommend it 110%. As a Habesha community, we're not told it's okay to go through therapy. It is okay. It's not going to work for everybody, but it might work for some people. You know what I mean? But it's best to deal with it when you know there is something wrong than wait later on in life, because it will catch up and it will surprise you in an unexpected way and be like, hey, there's these boxes that you haven't dealt with and it's full of crap. Sort it out now. And it doesn't give you just one box. It gives you the whole box that past however many years that you keep dragging it. It's like, ተሳቢ እኔ ትሬ መኪና ተጭኖ የቦታች መኪና ይመጣልሃል እና ገልብጦልህ ይሄዳል. Like that is your mental state of mind that brings it and dumps it on you. And you be like, okay, how do I get out of it? And ለአንተ መጥቼ እንኳን ብነግርህ, you're not going to understand what I'm saying because it's not going to make sense to you. But people, we always find someone that we feel comfortable enough to open up, but at the same time you feel like, oh, am I going to be a burden? Am I going to be always telling you, oh, one day I feel this, I feel this. Finally, I've learned to accept what I feel and what I'm going through and to open up. It doesn't matter what it is. Find someone and just say it. Or find someone that is going through something that can force me to tell them what I went through. So in that way, I am helping myself and helping that person who I am talking to about the experiences. It's like, for me, that is my therapy. That is my way of, okay, I need to turn it. So the whole reason why we are here today is, I think, to change that. It's like, oh, you feel something, you want to do something about it, talk to someone. Trust me, everyone has a story. Everyone has something that they can relate to you, even though you think that there is nothing that they can relate to you and make you say, oh, እኔ እና እሱ ልንግባባ አንችልም. No, there is always something that you will always have something in common. የሚያግባባ ነጥብ, doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Your example, your grandma, ነጭ ነች.
Yeah.
But you had something in common. You had something that you can relate to, that helped you get, close the gap that you had so much. ቀስ በቀስ እየጠረገች ብሪጁን አጥባ ገጥማለህ. It made you see the picture why you were the way you were, why you were acting the way you were acting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all of that through your grandma, that was your therapy.
Oh yeah. No, that's. Oof. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to imagine like her not being in it, because that could lead up to a different story today. So yeah.
Yeah. There's so many comments I have missed out. I've been talking too much. What are you looking? I can't. I don't know if I can catch up. If I can catch up with them, I don't know. Okay. What do we have here? Okay. If you guys have questions, because there's so much comments I can't go through, I'm focused on talking to him. And I'm not reading anybody's comment. Put it in the question mark box. So at the end, we can go through it and then we can discuss it as well. So please use the question mark box to put your comments. So it keeps it there for me. When I click it, it's all in order and we can go through it. But yes, thank you for everybody that is tuned in with our guest Wondem, sharing his experience living in a different country or being a diaspora, what it means and what the struggles were as a young person, and the struggle that he faced and how he managed and how he coped with it. And yeah, so the next question I was about to ask you, it says the biggest mistake, but I don't think it's a mistake. Or someone said, what's your biggest regret? I don't think it's a regret as well. So
you guys,
what's the biggest mistake or regret?
Okay,
by far. No judgment here. No judgment here. Judgment
right.
free.
Because I'm a
So what is your biggest mistake you've made by far?
By far, so I had, when I was in high school, I had scholarships to play soccer.
Yep, I know that story. Yep.
And I had about 11 scholarships. I left.
Yep.
I didn't, I saw the mails, emails, everything. Didn't matter to me. It's not a regret, but I feel like, looking back, it's not a regret. But at the time, but let me tell you guys, even though everything was good, like I was starting to open up, there are certain things in your life that you had to deal with by your own and accept things for what they are, right? So my grandma was there to help me see that bridge, see that light. There is that light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep.
I was just in the middle. I was not there yet.
Yeah.
She got me there. She got me there in the middle of it. So there was, once I graduated high school, it was time for me to continue that road, like to make sure I look straight forward and find that light for myself. So throughout high school, I knew where all my friends were. We kept in touch, we start talking because videos were like on the news. My videos were on the news and friends start seeing it and reaching out to me and stuff. And by the way, like, not to brag, but I was the star boy, in New York. So like I was on newspapers, news channels, and like for soccer, sports channels, and for those kind of stuff. So when after graduation, I had this scholarships and stuff, I left. Like I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to stay in New York. I wanted to find my own path. So I knew where my friends were living, and most of them were living in Washington State.
Yeah.
So we kind of connected and say, let's move in together. Everybody said, okay. 6 of us moved in together, but uh, I kind of had a bad habit. I used to drink a lot. I used to smoke, and
Yeah.
so that started like, trying to cope with my problems. Even
Yeah.
like, like I said, even high school, like I was doing that, but I never showed it. Like, and let me tell you guys this. For me, it wasn't about like, oh, like, I'm high school and like I'm grown and I'm drinking, I'm smoking. No, it wasn't that.
Yeah.
So it never really occurred to me for people to see me drink or smoke. Especially they saw me
Yeah.
drinking, but they never saw me smoking. Maybe one friend
Yeah.
that I trusted very well, and that was it. So when I moved here, that continued. It didn't stop
Mm.
for a while. So like when the regrets or like I don't want to. I guess I do. Like I'll be honest with you, I do regret it. I do regret it because I have always wanted to become this professional soccer player. I had a dream, and
Yeah.
I will tell you honestly, I could have become one. I think with the heart and
Mm.
desire that I had, I could have become a professional soccer player.
Yeah.
And to allow those, a scholarship pass by me, that was the biggest mistake and biggest regret. I do regret it, absolutely, yes, I do regret it. But again, like, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I find my own way to deal my problems. And
Yeah.
like I wouldn't be able to sit here and speak to you if I chosen that scholarship and go out because mind you, like when that distraction comes, you forget who you are sometimes and what you're dealing with. Eventually, that anger, that personality might come out right in the middle of the field. And
Yeah.
even playing in high school, playing for a club, sometimes it came out. There was a time that I had batted a referee and got suspended for a
Yeah.
year not to play soccer for a year in the state of Washington.
Mm.
And so there are those kind of things, and that happened. And I regret it. I also think it's one of the blessings that I have passed away. And it just, it was a learning experience. And I have
Yeah.
become an opportunist right now. I have grown to be an opportunist. When opportunity comes, and I analyze it, and if I have to go for it, I will go for it. And being in the fitness, like I got into fitness when I was about 23,
Yeah.
so that will be another turning point for me to drop everything and become who I am today. Like this person who's speaking to you came from after 23. Like so, this is about 5 years ago. I'm 28 now, and this is like this person you see right here is like basically a whole, I guess, a whole 10 15 years of work, but the whole change came in the last 5 years. So I'm still working on me, like not nowhere near where I want to be, but like I do believe I'm like and second chances in life, and that's
Yeah.
why I said I'm an opportunist. And when that comes, like you don't need to hesitate because seeing what I have seen, I don't think
Yeah.
anything worse could happen to me. I think I have seen the worst of
Wow.
it, to be honest. That's how I feel right
Yeah.
now. I've seen the worst of it. I've seen, now I know how to stay calm. Now I know how to like, talk to people, actually help people and things like that. So
Yeah.
getting into fitness has become a turning point for my regrets. So I kind of subsided with something else, basically.
Yeah.
Instead of playing, soccer, even though I wanted to be a professional, but now I have become personal trainer and a profession, like
Yeah.
that's my profession now. And I also work with,
Yeah.
mentally disabled people, and I'm able to connect and help them out, understand them and stuff. And
Yeah.
I give credit to God and, like I said, my grandmother that, you know, that taught me like anybody could be understood. They just need to find the right people to actually speak to and discuss this
Yeah.
kind of be vulnerable to people. And I'm not
Yeah.
one that I shies away being like vulnerable. I don't. I had nothing to hide. There is nothing you could hold against me. So that's me. That's why I
Yeah.
always tell people, do not ever feel sympathy when you hear my story, but feel rewarded because you're able to hear it, and maybe you're able to learn from it, and
Yeah.
make sure like you always know you have a friend to talk to whenever
Yeah.
you go through something. So that's how it was. Like, you know, yeah, I do regret it, but then, and this time, right now, today, I am more than
Yeah.
happy with what I'm doing, and you know that regret feeling is kind of subsided. So I have found
Yeah.
something else to replace it with. So I'm okay now.
Very well said. For me, I think the mistake and regret, there was a debate with the Rora team whether we should say mistake or regret. For me, there shouldn't be any regret in life. There's gonna be mistakes made in life, and we can learn from them. But regret for me is like there's nothing of regret in life. There are mistakes that I've made that I'm not proud of, but
Yeah.
I've learned something from them. I don't regret making those mistakes. So the way you said, like whether you call what happened, that experience, losing all those scholarships,
Yeah.
is it a regret? No, you were young and you made those stupid mistakes in life but you learned and you chose to go chase something is not far from there, but in a better that actually helped you more, you know, find out who you are and help you develop as a person, grow more and get connected to who you are more as well. And mine, it's the same thing. I think as a young person, we all make that mistake. Mine is dropping out of school because I felt like, nah, እኔና ትምህርት ቤት አንዋደድም ጠላቶች ነን. Like we've made an agreement, me and school, to never get along. Like that's it. Nah. And dropping out of school is my biggest mistake that I've ever done. But did I learn something and change something about it? No. But I said, okay, not going to school is not going to stop me going and getting something great job. I don't need to have, you know, go to uni for, you know, 5 years to get a job what you have. So I had that go-getter kind of attitude. Like I want it, I'm going to go get it. And I am the kind of person that learns. You show me something, I will never forget it for the rest of my life. I learn as I go. So that has been something that made me lazy. But now, having a daughter of my own, I want to say to her, it doesn't matter how old you are, it's never too late to go back to school. So now I'm thinking about, you know, going back to school and doing what I wanted to do as, you know, as a young person. So I think that is the biggest mistake I did. And it has taken a while for me to understand and say, okay, I should have done that maybe, even though I don't need it in life, but somehow in life, going somewhere with that piece of paper makes you say, I've done this, but you don't even need it, because now everywhere I go, there is that requirement. Did you finish high school?
Yeah.
That just year 12, not uni, not nothing. That year 12 certificate means so much. So every time I come across young people that are younger, like I always push them, get your high school certificate. I don't care whether you go to college. I don't care whether you go to uni, but once you find yourself and you decide to go back to uni, you have that paper. That high school diploma means so much. So I always tell young people, don't be stupid. I've made that mistake. Learn from me. Have that paper. Because once you go, it's like now, if I want to go back to college and uni, I have to go back and do a year or 2 years subsided the high school thing combined together so I can get my high school certificate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all that for what? Just because I didn't want to stay in school for 2 years. Now I have to do it instead of spending 2 years doing something else. And it always holds you back. So that is my mistake that I've made and I'm not proud of. But at the end of the day, it's okay because it made me be a fighter and go getter. I'm like, nah, I'm going to prove it to you. I don't need a paper to go get what I am where I am today. My job, I have the most amazing job. Like, I started with handling jobs, doing packaging, whatever. Today, 12 years later, I'm a graphics designer. I don't even have a paper. And all of that, it's all just because someone told me you can't do it. You can't get there without a paper. I'm like, no, I'm going to show you how I can get there without a paper. I don't need you to tell me how I can get there. Now that I'm standing here, I'm like, okay, God forbid if something is to happen, I need something to fall onto.
Yeah.
So it makes you start thinking the next step. So these are the things that make you like, okay, now I understand why you need the paper. Finally, you cave in, you'll be like, okay, I understand. I give in. I need the paper. So that is the biggest mistake. Very, very good conversation. That is actually my brother. Keep up the great work, fam. Have a good night, guys. Okay, that's my little brother. One of my inspirations as well. He's one of the geniuses. One done. Lastly, a question. I think you've been through so much and you've learned so much. You have so much knowledge about life and about who you are now. Looking back at your younger self, what advice would you give yourself?
Oof. Keep going. Yeah, I think I would like the only advice I would have is keep going, because I guess in the different stages, like you learn that there is no handouts. Not everybody is going to understand you. Not everybody is going to can relate to your stories.
Yeah.
And it is tough, like to actually look back and said, that's something I always think about, like actually because like if I find a younger version of me somewhere else, do I share my story, or do I tell him like how I came out of it? And it's always tough, like, because the way people receive stories, it's different for all of us. So the one thing I would always say is, like, no matter, regardless of what you go through, and it is life that we lose some, we win some, but never stay down. Okay, you may not realize it, and I think all of us that are and here and out in other places. But I would like, one thing I would tell people is, like, when we give other people advice, we need to be very cautious, because sometimes our story takes over, and some people are not as strong as you are today.
Yeah.
Because for some people it takes a longer time to heal.
Yeah.
Let your thoughts be heard. Let them heal on their own time. Never leave their side. If you're going to start being on their side, stand until the end.
Yep.
The end is always priceless if you stuck with it. I'll tell you that much. Usually, like a great example, like my grandmother, until to this day, I told you I'm 28. If she does not get a call on a Sunday, I'm done. I get 10,000 missed calls. I get a text message. She's 78. I get a text message. All right? And it's a sweet, nice text message, okay? I tell her, Grandma, I'm going through this. And by any means, going through something will never stop. Okay? Let alone your story that happened when you were younger and as you go, right? Going through some stuff, it just never stops. That's life. Accept it. To me, what helped me most, I think of my past every day. Like, I'll tell you that much. And one of my prime goals is to make sure I go back home and build a team of like this, to make sure mental health exists, mental or like we never knew that, like depression, anxiety, things like that.
Yeah.
I always thought of them as a thought, right? When someone sit you quit, I went, oh, what's going on? Like, I'm thinking, but I was depressed,
Yeah.
and I was like, I was in a rabbit hole, and it took a whole
Yeah.
lot to come out of that. So, like, for me, it means a great deal to make sure I go back home and create that environment for kids, especially kids on the street. And I know when I say kids on the street, a lot of people, not only kids on the street go through, but then I have firsthand
Yeah.
experience. And that, if we all stick into our field, trying to help, like push that field and make something out of it to help others, trust me, because once you go on your lane and help someone, and I go on my lane and help someone, there will be a time that bridge will come together. Right?
Yeah.
And this comes from understanding each other's differences.
Differences.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I said you have to be very cautious when you give someone advice, because
Yeah.
your story, their story might line up, but the healing process, yours is going fast, hers is coming slow. So you want to be able to
Yeah.
allow that difference to be the difference inside the middle of you, but like be patient with people. And be patient with yourself too. If you are healing, if you're one of those people who are healing, be patient.
Yeah.
Trust me. But don't, like, I guess it's hard to say don't allow yourself not to overthink. We always do.
Yeah.
But accept it. Like I would say, like, like you said, just the advice for my younger version, I would say just keep going, accept what it is, and stay humble. Like whatever you're going through in life,
Mm.
there is
Yeah.
someone that's going through worse. That always has actually that thing that always like will always reminisce in my head. Like, whenever you
Yeah.
think you're going through the worst, there is someone else, that's even worse than you are. So at
Yeah.
least I am, today I am breathing. I am in a great place. I'm able to talk to people about, like, I'm sitting here being vulnerable to people. To be at that stage in life, I don't know. I don't know how to explain that feeling. Like I'm
Yeah.
truly and very